Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And just when you think that the world can't possibly get any more cartoon-like, any more dystopic, you see something like this and it totally blows your mind. And you're Jason Burmis, so you expect stuff to get a little over the top, right? You expect when a guy like Cuomo, who has openly given the state to billionaires while eviscerating his middle class and gaslighting the entire country and the world as America's governor, as he jokes with Fauci about being the De Niro Pacino team, can't make this stuff up. You think, no, Jason, that's cartoon level, 100,000 trillion %. You can't get any more cartoon level than that. Well, get ready. Because last night, I'm scrolling through the stations, and I actually go to C-SPAN. And by the way, thank God we have C-SPAN right now, because as far as I know, the president is speaking on it's the first time he's speaking in the last several days to the public, and no mainstream media outlets are covering it. It's on C-SPAN. You can watch that live, okay? But back to this. I'm going through C-SPAN, and I see Cuomo in what appears to be some kind of a science fiction action film. What's going on here? Did that just cut me off? Is this just starting? Tell me if this just started in the comments section, guys. Let me know. Hey, Jenny, did this just start? Because I think it's important. I guess it must have just started. Did you guys not hear everything I just said? I thought I was streaming for the last 2 minutes plus. All right. No one's answering me in the comments section with the live chat. Maybe I'm that far behind. What is going on, YouTube? I hope I'm on this platform. No, I have been on for the last few minutes. Okay, good, because everything's acting really funny. Okay, great. Cuomo already gave the entire state to billionaires, right? He gave education to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He gave contact tracing to Michael Bloomberg. He gave the smart cities to Eric Schmidt, and he moved Bezos and Amazon in even heavier, okay? Great. Now he's decided to give the state of the state in what looks like an Emperor Palpatine style Star Wars prequel. What do I mean? Like, it's dark, like it's lit like this is a horror movie, okay? And by the way, in the middle of it, he tells you that there's going to be 3 more of these. He's going to give 3 more in succession, these press conferences, to tell you what the agenda is. But he talks about how economies and societies will be reset. Let me repeat that. Reset. This is the reset agenda. He is unapologetic about it. If you think that the thing behind me, what you're seeing him stand there, looks dystopic enough, you have not seen anything yet. So thumbs the video up, subscribe and share. This is going to be a long watch along, okay? I only watched about half of it. Half of this I haven't even seen yet, okay? So who knows how I'm going to interpret it, but you know how we do the watch alongs here. $5, $10, $15. Big donors, need you now more than ever. The links are down below. Without you guys, I couldn't be doing this several times a day. All the documentary films are free. If you haven't seen those, I encourage you to check them out as well. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Again, if you're not subscribed, why not? Who knows how much longer we're actually going to be here with all the deplatforming. Rockfin. There were some glitches today, but today's exclusive has now been released on YouTube as well. And you can see it over on Rockfin as well. So Rockfin, we're live 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Check it out. Okay, and by the way, we are now backing everything up on Odyssey. It was absolutely ridiculously easy. So another great place where you can find all of my content. Andrew Cuomo's State of the State speech. Yep. Let's get to it. Dystopic nightmares. Okay? That's all I can say. Dystopic nightmares. That's what I'm having.
Cuomo.
Well, good morning to all. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, who is here with us today.
Let me just stop it. Now, who said to him, let's go with as dystopic as possible? Let's turn the lights low. Let's have a very, very sinister looking set. And let's roll out the new authoritarianism.
And Controller Thomas DiNapoli, Attorney General Tish James, Senate Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Speaker Carl Heastie, Senate Minority Leader Robert Orton, Assembly Minority Leader William Barkley, who are all joining us electronically in this special year. Happy New Year to all. I believe it is with near universal relief that 2020 has come to an end, and I say amen. We now turn towards 2021 with a spirit of optimism that is grounded in experience. Today, I address you from the magnificent War Room in the state capitol. The War Room is fitting because we are at war, a war that began early last year when we were ambushed by the COVID virus, and a war that continues today. The artwork in this room reminds us that we have been at war before. It memorializes epic battles, the Revolution, the Civil War, World War I. It honors the unknown soldier, also reminding us today of our lost frontline heroes. And as our forebears before us, we will win this war, and we will be the stronger for it. Today, I'm called on to answer what is in most years a straightforward question, but at this time is anything but. What is the state of our state? Well, in some ways, it is like the state of the nation, and indeed the state of the world. We are hurt, we are frustrated, we are in mourning, we are anxious. We are shocked that an invisible enemy could wreak such death and destruction.
An invisible enemy. We're at war. It's the next level to the war on terror. And again, if this couldn't look more dystopic, I don't know how.
Especially in this, the wealthiest and most powerful nation on earth. And it was not only the virus itself that showed our vulnerabilities. It's that COVID created low tide in America. And the ugliness that lurked below the surface was exposed and became visible for all to see. The racial divisions, the religious tensions, the government incompetence, the healthcare disparities, the social injustice, and the danger of hateful leadership. New York is, of course, not immune to those currents. In New York, we experience all of it. But in other ways, New York's state of the state is different because New York is different. Our DNA is different. Our character is different. What COVID did to us is different. And how we responded to COVID is different.
The only thing that was correct about that, because I assure you, being from New York, our DNA is no different. Everything before our response is different was a complete and utter lie of Andrew Capo Cuomo. That's a promise. We are not different. We are human beings. I'm very happy to be in Iowa. I've lived other places. We're human beings. We're human beings. We're human beings. You notice how everything's about diversity before that? But then it's like, no, we're totally the same here in New York. We're just different from everybody else. No, the response was different. Yeah, it was authoritarian. It's broken the middle class. It banned hydroxychloroquine at some point. You're right. It's different. And by the way, we're going to be doing a story later on that is kind of unbelievable. But all I'm saying is it is getting worse in New York now. After they start vaccinating people 3 weeks ago. That's all I'm going to say. That they started vaccinating people 3 weeks ago. The nursing home had 0 deaths before that. You look at the number there. You make your own. Yeah, they've handled it different. Andrew Cuomo has handled it different.
We have a confidence born from accomplishment. We know what we must do, and we will do it. We will win the COVID war, and we will learn and grow from the experience. We are smart, united, disciplined, and loving. We are, as we say, New York tough.
I mean, look at that guy. I mean, literally coming up with PR, public relations, total bullshit, meaningless slogans that they began to roll out last March. Look at that guy. Take a good look.
There are moments in life that can change a person fundamentally, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Likewise, there are episodes in history that transform society, and COVID is one of those moments. New York sees the moment for the crisis it is, but also the opportunity it presents.
So you see this? Crisis, but opportunity. This is he said, a transformative moment for society. This guy is a puppet and promoter of this Great Reset agenda. Make no mistake about it.
We understand the international trauma and disruption that COVID is causing. It has affected every aspect of society around the globe and generated new fundamental dynamics. Even this presentation today is different. Normally, it is given in the Albany Convention Center with thousands of people. Today, I'm speaking in person with a small group, but broadcasting, Zooming, and streaming. And in this new and different world, the audience is actually larger, not smaller.
Let's stop this. The audience is actually larger, not small. See, he tries to promote this. He's like, usually I'm in a hall with a bunch of people where people are human beings around one another. We don't need that anymore. I wouldn't be able to be in some kind of dark, authoritarian midnight movie, bad SNL sketch-like set as I tell you and dictate to you how tough we are in this Orwellian, nightmarish, hermetic, magical presentation, in my opinion. The upside down, inverted reality. Because that's what this is.
Technology and technology-based relationships, work from home, these are new realities that will have dramatic consequences. This next year, we will see economies realign and reset around the world.
There it is. This year, we will see economies realign and reset around the world. What do you think this is? My jaw was dropping when I was watching this yesterday. Let's bring it back. Let's hear him say it again.
New realities that will have dramatic consequences. This next year, we will see economies realign and reset around the world. We see the risk and the peril, but we also see the promise and the potential. The question to be answered is, what will we make of this moment? Is it positive or is it negative? Do we move forward or do we move backward? Is America, is New York stronger or weaker in the post-COVID world? Those, my friends, are the questions that we alone will answer in 2021 because the future is in our hands.
Let me tell you what he's going to push to you. He's going to push mandatory vaccinations. And by the way, guys, I want everybody to understand that even with this, the subliminal realities behind it, like for instance, look at the color scheme here. And he's talking about COVID, and he's talking about new realities. He's talking about a post-COVID world. Now, we're going to do it live, right here, right now, okay? We're going to type in COVID-19, the Great Reset book. Okay, and there it is. And let's get some images. And there's the cover for it. Same kind of blue. Nice white lettering in the background. Same dictates. Just a little bit different from that World Economic Forum. that we've seen, if you don't think that's, part of, the easing you into this, the similarities, the symbolism, it's for the symbol-minded out there.
We built the greatest state in the country once before, and we will do it again. In normal times, a governor's State of the State address is issued on one day in one presentation. But these are no ordinary times, and our plan is more complex and detailed. I will give an overview today, and then 3 additional presentations of specific action plans in the coming days. Allow me to outline the scope of our 7-point plan. First, we must defeat COVID.
Just so everybody understands how viruses work, once they're introduced, they don't go away. This man has never been concentrated on treating it early or using any kind of repurposed drugs or the treatments that doctors around the country have been successful with and went to their local media with, and in the case of Dr. Bartlett, is working with the new mayor of Odessa, Texas with. That's not what he's about. No, he's about forced vaccinations, being the first fully vaccinated states. That's it. That's it. That's the truth. America's governor.
And beat back the assault as the virus rages in these next few months. It will not be easy. A high-performing hospital system, as well as the diligence of New Yorkers, are the keys to stop the spread. Second, the vaccine will end the COVID crisis. We must vaccinate 70 to 90% of our 20 million New Yorkers, and we must do it quickly, safely, and fairly. We must also learn the glaring and costly lessons of America's failed public health system, so we are better prepared for the next time. And as we all now should realize, there will be a next time.
There will be a next time. Doesn't matter that we've carried on as a society literally for hundreds of years and nothing like this has ever been mandated. Nothing like this has ever been dictated in our country, let alone through a global agenda. And I don't care what, they're prepping you all right. They're prepping you because this is round one, baby, and these are rolling lockdowns. And we'll gut what we want to gut. And we'll tell you what to do because we're your pappy.
Third, we must deal with a short-term economic crisis, a record $15 billion state deficit that must be addressed in the next several weeks. Fourth, we must plan our economic resurgence. We simply cannot stay closed until the vaccine hits critical mass. The cost is too high. We will have nothing left to open. We must reopen the economy, but we must do it smartly and safely.
And by smartly and safely, he means on behalf of billionaires, still gutting mom and pop shop restaurants, making them more subservient to the government and bars, of course. See, it all sounds nice. But do you think Max Pub's going to get a pass? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is Andrew, the facts aren't the facts Cuomo. It's America's governor, baby.
Also, we must energize our lagging private sector and rebuild our economic platform, our transportation system, our infrastructure system for the next generation of growth. Fifth, we must seize the opportunity to make New York the global leader in the long overdue economic shift to green energy.
What does green energy mean? Well, the billionaires and their buddies do whatever the fuck they want. And then maybe they pay a little bit of a carbon tax. It's already worked into them because they get all this corporate welfare and tax. But you pay a carbon tax too. So it doesn't stop anything, but it's real green, right, Andrew? And then they can tell you maybe you're not allowed to have 2 cars. Maybe you're not allowed to have that big house. Maybe you're only allotted a certain amount of energy unless you're in a higher tax bracket. It is the command and control of our very life force, of us breathing. That's what the capo's talking about. 500 plus watch and only 128 thumbs up. Can we get it to 2?
That is the smart thing to do. That is the right thing to do. And it will create thousands of good, secure jobs. Sixth, we must be the first to anticipate how COVID will transform our society and economy. And we must capitalize on those coming changes. Seventh, we must address the systemic injustices exposed during this year's low tide in America.
The only systemic injustice in this country is the fact that there is a predator class of billionaires and their puppets that are above the law. Okay? And they are given every single chance to not only break the law, but then vigorously defend themselves and then smear others as they do it, commit atrocities globally, not just in this country, and then maybe pay a fine down the line. Isn't that nice? Or even when they get caught up in human trafficking rings, like Claire Bronfman, and they go to jail, it's a country club, as they defend everybody else, and one guy takes the fall. Those are the systemic inequalities in this country, all right? That we have a national security state that could give a flying fuck about the general populace. All right? They work for that predator class. And at the very top of it, you have people like Ted Turner and Michael Bloomberg in the good guys club with guys like Bill Gates that are talking about overpopulation, that want you on a nice universal basic income. And that's if you're brown, that's if you're black, that's if you're Asian, that's if you're white, that's if you're Hispanic. That's all of us on this system. While we are tracked, traced, and databased, which we already are, and free speech is ultimately crushed to where it is completely unrecognizable, and there might be a whole nother term for free speech. If you use the term free speech, you might be the domestic terrorist. Okay? Those are the systemic injustices.
The inequity, the racism, and the social abuse. And my friends, if that wasn't ambitious enough, all of these plans must move forward simultaneously. It will be hard. It will be the greatest test for government since we mobilized to fight World War II. It will be the greatest opportunity for advancement since post-World War II. Today, I will address the first steps we must take. Most immediate. Until the vaccine reaches critical mass, we must regulate and implore New Yorkers to be diligent. COVID fatigue is not an option.
Notice the word regulate. 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 Fatigue, not an option. Fatigue to him means resistance to lockdowns, resistance to authoritarian dictates. That's what fatigue means to this man. Andrew, the facts aren't the facts, Cuomo.
Until COVID itself is fatigued, we must defeat the enemy. If we tire before the enemy tires, we lose the war.
You see that? See that? Like if a Republican had done that, that's the white power Trump symbol, by the way, that he was giving. I mean, it's just the ludicrousy. No one will ever say that. That's not what I think. But can you imagine if that were like anybody with an R next to their name or anybody that was conservative? That's the weird world we live in.
It's that simple. We must slow the spread to keep our COVID numbers down. In the interim, we must manage hospitalization so the system is not overwhelmed. We need the highest level of performance from our hospitals and local governments. If the caseload threatens to overwhelm the hospital system, we will need to close that region again. That is the worst case option. But even more broadly, we must realize that it is time for an entirely new way of thinking of our public health system.
I mean, look how dystopic that is. And we're talking about a public health system that's obviously broken, that's obviously favored to that of those with money and influence, but that is purposeful. It is one that exploits its people. Okay, it exploits its people, and it does so in a savage, brutal fashion. Not trying to give them the best path to health, but to get them on the hook, to exploit financially the system as much as it can. And this whole new telehealth thing, just like this whole new, telelearning thing, is utter bullshit. All right? You need to go talk to your doctor one-on-one. You need to go use their facilities sometimes. There are certain things that can be done, but they're going to push so many more people into this system where you can't look another human being in the eye and even get a read on them. No, it's going to be through the magic piece of glass, the screen. Talk about having no more privacy in a doctor's office. Literally, your entire meetings are now going to be recorded on top of that. They already are if you're using telehealth. Like, don't you get it?
Our nation's public health system was just not prepared for this. Despite the experience of SARS 17 years ago, MERS and Ebola 6 years ago, several dengue outbreaks in the last few years, this country couldn't even produce something as simple as enough nasal swabs. Our laboratories were unprepared, and our hospital systems had no ability to manage the surge. The federal government did not even screen visitors at the nation's gateways here in New York.
You know what? I can't do any more of it. It literally goes on for another half an hour plus. Take a look, guys. This is how he decided to put out his State of the State. This was him rolling out that reset agenda, using the terminology. All right? So I do want to remind everybody, we've been fully demonetized on YouTube now, 10 plus months, $5, $10, $15, big donors. You mean the world to me. This is how we do it several times a day. This is how we keep putting out the content for now. We'll probably have to move to new platforms, but, thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share while you can. Join the Burmese Brigade. Check out all the documentary films, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture, okay, for free right here, right now. And again, if you're not subscribed, I don't know why not. And if you're not on the Rockfin, I couldn't tell you why either. We'll be live 11 a.m., 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. That's where we're at, for the free account. So make the free account. If you are a paid member there, awesome. You get my stuff and you get all the other stuff. It's a Netflix for creators. I really appreciate you. I love you guys. I'm not Jason the Facts Aren't the Facts Burmese. I'm Jason trying to tell you the truth and give you a heads up on sociopaths and psychopaths Burmese. See you on the flip side.